All right, I apologize. I apologize for running late. Apologize. My hair looks freaking brutal and everything tonight. But what's going on? Welcome back. Welcome back to another post game here on Rangers Central. And the Rangers drop their home opener 6-5 in overtime to the Utah Hockey Club, which still feels so freaking weird to say. Before we get into the recap, leave a like on the post game show on your way in. Subscribe if you guys are new, especially if you're Ranger fans, and turn on your notifications so you know when I upload or go live on the channel. Where do we begin? Where do we begin with this one? Because that was weird, to say the least. I mean, if I could use one word to describe what the hell I just watched at MSG, weird would be the correct word to use, in my opinion, because this game made complete and utterly no sense on a multitude of reasons. Because you look at the shot count, right? And you look at the fact that Utah, through like 2 periods, had, I don't know, like 20 shots on goal or whatever it might be, or maybe even less than that. You look up at the scoreboard and you see that. But then you also realize that this team looked putrid defensively, and you're like, how the actual fuck is that the shot count? Were weird fights in the middle of this game out of nowhere in the second period. The Rangers were good at points, but they also weren't. Some players looked great at points, and then they also looked miserable. And then there's a lot of players that were just outright bad tonight, because I don't know. I genuinely don't know how to break this thing down, because after the second period, was asking you guys to tell me how to break this down, because after the first period, I was lost. But all I know is this. After this game, Jacob Trouba is awful. He's awful. And I had someone comment on one of my TikToks being like, why are you surprised Jacob Trouba played good after the last game? He was hurt last year. Because nights like this. They were good until they weren't on that penalty kill, where Dylan Guenther scored that goal. And say what you want about the refs. Again, I'm not here to debate that. I don't have an issue with the refs tonight. And again, there's questionable calls that happened throughout this game. You could argue the goalie interference one, the Will Cooley one, was stupid. I mean, I don't know where he was supposed to go on that one. But you could argue that this team had some bounces go their way. Like, let's call a spade here. They had bounces. They just didn't perform up to par to win this game. They just didn't. And it starts with Jacob Trouba, who was completely out of position on that Dylan Guenther goal, trying to go around and chase guys. There was another goal, too, where he's just sprawling out. I think this was the second goal, the McBain goal. I could be wrong, but he's just like sprawling out across the ice. And Lafreniere needs to be involved on the back check, sure. But and there's another one where Panarin, he's not switching off with Mancini going up high to cover the point there and follow his man. Then Panarin just ends up gliding and trailing. He just, again, this was just a mess defensively. There were times that the breakouts looked crisp and it led to them generating chances. There were times where I wanted to whip my phone onto the ice from how aggravated I was. And it's a damn shame. It's a damn shame, because the crowd was fired up. I mean, it was a little quiet at points, don't get me wrong, but it's a shame that this is the performance you give after a dominant win against Pittsburgh. And granted, again, it makes sense, because what did I say after that Pittsburgh win? We can't get too arrogant here, and we can't get too cocky running down the street naked, because let's face it, Pittsburgh is an older team. They are a slower team. And what has been the Rangers' bugaboo with this core? Team speed, or the other team having speed, I should say. Going against team speed is the way I'll say it. Going against team speed has been this team's bugaboo for years now. I mean, as long as I've been doing this YouTube channel, which is about 5 years at this point. That has been the Achilles heel. And once again, we saw this team get killed by a team with speed. The neutral zone defense, I mean, they couldn't stop a nosebleed in the neutral zone. Did they deny one entry from Utah into their D zone? Did they deny one? Because this is what aggravated me at points last year too, and I said it so many times. What is the point of running the 1-3-1 if you're not going to be making the defensive plays in the neutral zone and you're just going to peel back and invite pressure in your own end and then say, screw it? What is the point of playing the 1-3-1 at that point? To me, I don't get that. But again, that was one of numerous problems, among other things, where again, you just had a guy like Keandre Miller, for example, right? Keandre Miller there were so many plays where he was just so excellent. Like, there were so many plays where I'm just like, yeah, good stick work. His name got shouted quite a bit, whether it was for the bad or the good. But the problem is, there was a lot of bad, because there were good plays in there that he made. But the bad was really bad. Really bad. I mean, I don't know what the hell he was doing on the overtime goal. I don't know what the hell he did on, what was it, the third goal? Was it the Keller goal or the... Yeah, it was the Keller goal. I don't know what the hell he was doing on that goal. It was 100% that. Yeah, it was that goal. Sorry. I'm losing my mind right now, and I'm like all over the place, but I don't know what the hell he was doing on that goal. He makes up for it with a weird bounce of a goal, sure, but again, come on, man. Again, the turnovers. The Stenlin one, Igor should have had that one. For a guy that wants $12 million, that's a terrible goal to let up. Igor should have had that one. That is on no one but Igor. Miller got burned a couple times. Trouba more times than not. Zach Jones on one of them too was just vomit worthy. I mean, again, there were plays he made nice, because if we're going to give credit to him, he is the one that got things started with that Will Cooley goal at the end, which there was a bounce that went their way, but that third line was excellent all night long. I mean, they were the ones providing that shift there. They also were generating the shift before the goal before, I should say, where it opened up the space for Braden Schneider to get down low and bury that goal. You know, it was just, again, and then the other goal is the Panarin one. Nice little play by Lafreniere, but let's not forget prior how brutal that shift was and how they were getting hemmed in their own end. And then the power play goal was a beautiful one by Panarin. I mean, there's just nothing else to say. I mean, both goals were, but I'm just saying, like, it was pretty brutal, the shift before on the first goal. Mancini tonight looked more like a rookie, I could tell you that. He wasn't particularly playing up to par tonight compared to what he did in the first game. I'm not ridiculing him. This is far from him. He almost had his first goal until he didn't, because, again, the goalie interference thing. But he wasn't terrible, but there were a couple plays where, again, that's just the story of this team. Like, everyone on this team except for three players in three players in particular that I thought were outright atrocious the entire game. Let's name them. I already named one of them with Jacob Trouba, who, again, just terrible and continuing to aggravate us night in and night out. I mean, I don't know what the hell is going on with him. That penalty kill one deflated the entire game. And I said it in my head at the time. I said in my head, kill off this penalty, you have a legitimate shot to win this game. And I thought that was where they lost the game. If they killed that off, and if Jacob Trouba wasn't such a bonehead and didn't go out of position there, the Rangers grabbed 2 points tonight. But for some reason, he decides to go out of position to chase a man, and his controller disconnected on the other goal, which I don't know how that lapse happened 2 times within the span of like 5 minutes, though, after the Barrett Hayton goal, where there was another time it happened where I think Zach Jones left the guy wide open in the same exact spot. And you had Mancini even just gliding back there. So I don't know what the hell went on with that tonight, but it happened way too much. And then the other 2 guys I thought were outright bad. Riley Smith I thought was brutal tonight. Like, he really bothered me tonight. whether it was lackadaisical plays in their own end, letting guys just walk in. I mean, the amount of times he was letting defensemen just walk by him, brutal. And then if I'm going to throw another name that I wasn't happy with tonight, not he's on the shit list, because we're about to get into the guy that is obviously going to face most of the criticism tonight, and I expect it in the chat. Just realized I forgot to start the live on Twitter. My God, what is wrong with me tonight? But either way, where was I? Yeah. Vinny Trocheck, I didn't think played a good game tonight. I thought he anchored that line, which for the most part, Panarin and Lafreniere were fine and they played good, but I thought Trocheck really dragged down that line at times because he was not that great. The last guy, though, obviously, that played outright terrible today was Mika Zibanejad. I mean, there is no way around it at this point. There's no way around it. I don't want to hear any excuses tonight for Mika Zibanejad. And I'm sorry, I don't, because I don't care that we're 2 games in, because this is more than just a 2-game thing. We're having this conversation annually that he's starting off slow. How many years is he going to start off slow until we just accept that this is just who he is? This is who he is. And for the people that are on me all the time, when I say don't pay Igor, Mika Zibanejad is one of those reasons I don't want to pay Igor. How do the two correlate, you may ask? I'm glad he did. The way the two correlate is you need to win cups with legitimate centers. Having Mika Zibanejad as one of those centers is not a recipe to win. He needs to lock the fuck in going forward. Could tell you that right now, and I don't think that I'm breaking news to anyone. But I've seen so much from him right now that I'm genuinely worried of if this is even going to change anymore, and if this is just what he is. Like, is this what he is? A guy that occasionally gets a couple looks at 5-on-5, which Chris Kreider played fine at 5-on-5. But Mika just looked a step behind him. But he looked lackadaisical at 5-on-5 and the D zone too. That overtime play. What are you doing? He needs to get his shit together. But I could tell you right now that it's beyond infuriating watching this, because this is the point. This is the point. He's become a passenger when he is the guy that is supposed to be driving the play of that line. You're not paying him $8.5 million to play good defensively, which he didn't even do that well enough tonight. Mika has been, again, this has been going on for years, but it has progressively got worse. Like, what is the excuse now? Because originally it was COVID. Then it was the new dad excuse. Then it's just, he usually starts off slow. What is it now? What is it now? I get we're 2 games in and it could turn around, and I'm praying to God it does. But I've seen so much over the past few years to the point where I don't expect it to change, unfortunately. And I hope that I look like a dope, and I hope I end up being wrong. But I've seen enough to where I don't know if it's going to change. And then in terms of other problems I had with tonight, why the hell is Matt Rempe in the lineup if he's going to play less than 4 minutes? Why the hell is he in the lineup? And you had Adam Edstrom, who played good, by the way, but Adam Edstrom, because of the 2-fight rule, doesn't get to come back in this game. You have him out, and you roll with 10 forwards the rest of the night. Pretty much. I mean, there was like 1 or 2 shifts where we saw Edstrom, and Carrick, I mean, we barely saw unless it was the penalty kill. and you weren't in a position to where you could double shift the other lines with how they played. I mean, the third line was fine. Outside of like the third line, I thought the third line was great tonight. Again, Cooley, Hedl, Kakko looked good. They were the ones generating the most chances. They were the ones getting the most sustained offense, and they were the ones that were getting involved on both ends of the ice. They were the only ones consistent on both sides of the puck. And if you maybe want to throw another name out there, it's Adam Fox, but I'm talking forward-wise here. They were the only ones involved the entire night on both ends of the rink. Outside of that, brutal stuff. It's brutal stuff. And there were so many open nets that they missed too. My God, I didn't even mention that. You have Keandre Miller flick a puck on the backhand over the net. Was it the backhand? I don't remember. But he flips a wide open net opportunity over the net. Chris Kreider fanning on a puck in front of the net. There was a loose puck in the crease that Jacob Trouba can't out-muscle anyone to get. I mean, they could have won this game. They had opportunities. They had opportunities, but with the poor defensive efforts by a lot of guys, Igor letting in that soft goal, not killing off that crucial penalty, you were going to lose this game. You were going to lose this game. And it's unfortunate because they really could have started off 2-0, but I don't know. That was the weirdest game I've seen in my life. That was just beyond weird. But yeah, I've been rambling for too long. Let me get to the chat. Like I said, leave a like if you haven't. Subscribe. Let's see what you guys are saying right now. We're fine. Still got a point in Utah. Is a good team. Got to give them credit. I don't want to do that this year, man. Like, listen, I'm not the we're fine part. Listen, again, it is 2 games in. I'm not going to sit here and say I'll disagree with that part. But I'm not willing to do the give credit to the other team thing entirely, because obviously there are times where you tip your cap to the other team, but you're supposed to be better than this team. Like, aren't we a Stanley Cup contender here? You're better than them. No? Because if you're not better than Utah, and I get that they've been off to a hot start, but if you're not better than that team, you're not winning the Stanley Cup. Sorry. You're not, because Utah didn't wow me tonight. No offense to them. And again, credit to them. They've got off to a good start, and there are games they have looked good, but they didn't wow me tonight. Lazy passing, poor defense, and worse officiating. What was that call on Cooley? The Cooley call was stupid. Again, I can't blame the officials when what you said is true. The passing was dog shit tonight. The defense was terrible. And again, the neutral zone play in particular was just embarrassing. I mean, there was no urgency in the neutral zone. And you had guys stepping up when they shouldn't, like Mancini having some poor reads, stepping up when he shouldn't. Jacob Trouba doing that all night. We're accustomed to that, though. Not fine. Igor gives up 6 goals, and Mika's awful, -4. Again, it's hard to blame Igor entirely. You could argue. And again, that's the other thing. He made such a good save in overtime, and that's the thanks you give him. But again, I get it. You could argue that he didn't have the best game. I'm not going to dispute that. Mika signed for 8.5 until 2029-30 season. Yeah. Yep. You got that right. Should Igor get paid $12 million? I'm not having that conversation tonight, but I don't think so. No. With the way this team is, after, I mean, nights like tonight really exemplify why. And it's not even particularly him. It's because there are so many glaring holes in front of Igor Shesterkin that it's just like, Again, I'm not having that debate tonight, though. I'm not. Fox was up and down. Miller and Zibanejad, I could get behind, but Fox was fine for the most part, in my opinion. Again, there were a couple plays where it was bad, but again, that was the summary of tonight. Like, everyone did something really freaking good, and everyone did something really shit. Outside of Trouba, who was just outright bad tonight, and same with Zibanejad. Igor better have a mind-blowing season if he wants that 12 mil, yeah. Same old problems, defense can't break the puck out. But they took notes against Florida, they said. Remember that? Remember how they yelled in our ear about how they learned from Florida and took notes from them? I don't know. 2 games in, and I'm not seeing it there. But we'll see. How do I think Igor was tonight? Meh. Like, again, maybe you want him to make one big save on one of them, but again, it's hard to argue that. I mean, the Stenlund goal he definitely should have had. He had to have that one. And the only other goal I can maybe argue that he could have had is like, I don't know. It's hard to blame him for the Hayden goal because nobody was covering him in that spot. But he also did have time to set, and he did have a clear sight of the puck there. Like, just watching the replay again over here on my side monitor too. He had time to set and make that save. But I don't know. Again, he was meh. Mika mid, Rempe not NHL caliber. If anyone's ejected or injured, we are down 2. Igor, one big save doesn't mean he's worth 12 million if he's letting up 6. No one played defense. Yeah, pretty much summed up perfectly. I tried to convince myself Mika would have a bounce back year, and it's still very early, but a -4 in a game where we scored 5 goals. Yeah, that's the biggest problem too. They scored 5 in this game, and he was a -4. Mika the jail. Forgot about Trouba. I don't know how you could forget. Not sure. Not even sure that was what goalie interference is anymore. Listen, I agree with that we need more black and white versus gray area in that department, but sorry, got distracted here. But yeah. Again, like, I think the Coley goal was garbage considering Connor Ingram was out of his crease, and it's just like, where is Will Coley supposed to go when he has the defenseman, I forgot who it was, all over him, playing the body? I don't know where he's supposed to go on that play, but the one with Rempe, I mean, I guess there's somewhat of an argument, but I don't know. At the end of the day, I'm not one that likes to blame the refs unless it's like really, really bad. And I get people think that this is really, really bad, but I think that there was a lot involved here with this game to where the Rangers just had to perform better. Like, again, let's call a spade a spade. They got lucky with that Keandre Miller goal. They did. It kind of washes away the Mancini one either way. Yeah, I was at the game too. That's why his post game's late. But yeah, it was not fun. Shout out to whoever it was, by the way, in the chat that I saw at the game. Sorry the interaction was a little weird. Sometimes honestly, sometimes I just don't know if it's people that genuinely fucking hate my channel that are talking to me when they see me at the Garden, or if it's people that like my channel, and I do want to apologize for that. But yeah, also, it was like I just got in the building, so it was a little weird to like stand there by security, but don't be afraid to come up to me ever if you see me. And I'm down to, of course, have a conversation if I see you again in particular, or just anyone in the chat. NJ's gonna take it to us big time. Competent GM. Miller looked bad tonight, sadly. Yeah, I mean, there were some plays he made that were like, the problem is There were plays he made that was good, but the bad was really, really bad. Like, it was extremely bad. Extremely bad. That's the problem we have here. Yeah, and that's another thing. I mean, forget about denying zone entries. They couldn't get through the freaking neutral zone if their life depended on it. Yeah, third line was good. Keller got through him twice. Miller's Jekyll and Hyde. Yeah, that I agree with. I mean, that's been the problem with Miller in general, and that's why I do understand that. That's where I see the camp that says, let's trade him. That's where I understand. Because with how Jekyll and Hyde is, at some point, what year are we in with him? 4, right? We're in year 4, 2021, 21, 22, 22, 23, 23, 24. Yeah, we're in year 5, actually. Jeez. Right? My math's right. Sorry, 2021, 21, 22, 20. I can't count. 22, 23, 23, 20. Yeah, year 5. Jeez, what is wrong with me tonight? We're in year 5. And he's another guy we're having the same conversations about, that he is Jekyll and Hyde every year, and it's a problem. And that's where I do understand the people that do want to trade him, is because of that. But again, I get it. I get the crowd also that's going to say, well, it's hard to... You can't expect perfection all 82, but the problem is that it's just like way too much with him, the streakiness. I am so far behind on the chat. Wow. I do apologize. Sorry, I got to catch up a bit. Leo, what's going on? Kreider, Laff, Panarin each had a few grade A chances. They completely missed the net. Yeah. That's what I was alluding to before. They had a lot. Mika's a good shot, but it's never on target. Yeah. That's the other thing. I mean, he's not even like hitting the net anymore. Yeah, they need to get rid of that stupid 2-fight rule. That's stupid. I mean, he was standing up for his teammates, whatever. My opinion, Cooley was the best forward on the ice. Didn't lose a board battle. I agree. I thought Will Cooley was probably the best forward, too. I agree with that entirely, actually. He was winning board battles. He was getting involved on both ends of the ice. He was creating a lot of quality opportunities, whether it was for himself or his line mates. I thought he drove, honestly, the play of that line, which, you know, obviously with Phil Peedle, he's usually the one driving the play, but Will Cooley did phenomenal with that tonight. Yeah, the ref card's hard to pull when you're bad. If they dominate tonight and the refs like blatantly were garbage, that would have been a different story. But you can't use the ref card when you play this way. You just can't. Yeah, defensively, utter embarrassment. Mika had a rough game. Panarin looked great. Guess which one was supposedly hurt in the preseason? Yeah. Brutal. Heedle should get more ice time than Mika. I agree. Jason, what's going on? To be honest, it wasn't a terrible game for the majority, but there were a few players that definitely stood out in a bad way. And I also think Igor didn't play horribly, really, outside of the 4th goal. I think the first goal he should have had, like, looking back on it, now I, like, strongly believe he should have had that first goal. He should have. Like, he was square to the puck, and he still didn't make the save on that first goal. He was square to it. I'm sorry, but that one was on him too. I'll have to look back on the other goals because it's hard when you get literally one look at the replay in the Garden and everything happens so quickly. But at least the first and the fourth goal he should have had. And again, that does not excuse the poor defensive lapse that Trouba had there, but at the same time, he was square to the puck. It was a strange game because of weird bounces, bad calls, that and fights and all this other crap. It was weird, yeah. Wes McCauley sucks. I'm sorry. I don't care about the for fighting bullshit. Like, the act is old, man. Like, get a new gig. It's really not. It's just not funny once you hear it every time he's reffing a game. Like the first time, because there were a few people in the crowd laughing at it. Which, yeah, if it's your first time seeing Wes McCauley ref, then sure, it's entertaining. But like after the amount of times we've seen it, we get it. You've been doing this thing for years now. And his act is old, and he's just not a good ref at all. He's genuinely terrible. I've been on the Wes McCauley hate train for years now, and I will continue to hate him. Again, not the reason they lost the game. I want to make that very clear. Not the reason they lost the game, but Wes McCauley does suck. Let's say. Sorry, I'm just like skimming through the chat a bit just because again, I want to catch up a bit. Honestly, if this game showed me something, it was that Kakko not performing with Kreider and Zibanejad's not on him. You cannot expect a 23-year-old to carry a bona fide vet in Zibanejad. It's honestly been the defense that the Kakko defenders have used for so long, and I still think part of it's on him because at the end of the day, a guy that was drafted second overall should be making guys around them better. That's always been my take. But I do agree with the sense that you can't over-rely on him when Zibanejad is just, like, he just does nothing at 5-on-5. Laviolette ditches the fourth line when we go down. Yeah, that's true. I'll answer this question gladly because I would love to answer Mets related questions right now with how mad I am. But yes, I am. I'm going to game 3 and 4, and I'm probably gonna go to game 5 too. I don't know. I have to wait and see what the tickets are when they drop. Potentially, maybe I'll get standing tickets. I don't know. How can we determine if Rempe is NHL caliber or not if he gets 3 minutes of ice time? That's the thing. Like, send him to the freaking Wolfpack if he's not gonna play that much. Send him down to Hartford. I love Igor, but he had an average game, not getting any help from the defense and making some amazing saves, but for 12 mil, his performance will be under the microscope, rightfully so. And this is the stance that a lot of people should have, and I think that's a very level-headed take that you have, and I share a lot of the same sentiment as you. Like, I do love Igor, and just because I'm against paying him $12 million does not mean I don't like him. But yeah, when you do ask for that much money, you are going to be viewed under the microscope, and you are going to be expected to make more saves than, you know, even if your defense is leaving you out to dry at times, you are going to be expected to make more saves. But yeah, I don't know. I just agree with that take entirely. Not overreacting, but there were concerns. I mean, that's how I am tonight. And, like, that's the thing. Like, again, because I know people are going to say it's 2 games, but the problem is we have years of data with this core. Like, this isn't just 2 games. This is 5, 6 year, almost 6 years now of a sample size with this group. Like, we know what this group is. And what we saw tonight is unfortunately the reason they have not hoisted the Stanley Cup. It's just the truth. And if that hurts anyone, I'm sorry, but it's the truth. Tell me I'm wrong. Goalie interference, Colin Rempe was horrible. The game, the goalie couldn't see, came out to see around Rempe. We scored and got a horrible call. Again, I agree with it to an extent, but it's hard to argue that when you got a bounce, like you got a very fortunate bounce your way with the Miller goal. How much does Mika have left in the tank? I have no idea. It's not no quit in New York. They got rid of no quit in New York at least, right? If we want one win of the night, they got rid of no quit in New York. And I got a free t-shirt. Yay. Colin Kakko has looked great for the first 2 games. I agree. I agree with that. Don't want to see Utah win until they get a real name. Sorry if that's ignorant. No, it's valid. It's pretty valid. And yeah, this is the point. I'm assuming you're referring to the comment saying, oh no, sorry. I got lost. I thought you guys were referring to Utah. My apologies. Let's see. Buy out Mika. We're all over the place tonight. Relax people is a bad game. Now trade this guy. Come on. The problem is that it's more than just one bad game because we have years of sample size. That's the problem here. It's not the like that. Yeah, I don't know. I don't know what else I could add to that. That's the problem. It's more than one game, to be honest with you. Any chance Drury would delay Laugh and or Igor extensions until the offseason or deadline? Laugh and Igor would be dumb. Mostly Laugh, I should say, would be dumb to sign a contract right now and not wait for his value to spike up. Mika's away, 6 more years left. If you want my prediction on that, go to the go to my can't talk right now. Go to my channel, Met Central, where I gave my prediction and broke down the series in depth. Mets had an off day, so decided to watch the Rangers game, and man, that was disappointing. The problems from last year, this season were even worse. This is the comment that is the point that I'm trying to make when people are saying it's just one game, this and that. It's like, the problem is that they're not doing a good job proving to us fans that are like Max, that are like myself, that are like a lot of you guys that watch my channel, because most people that think I'm insufferable, because I keep it real. But that's the problem. That is exactly the problem with saying it's just one game, is that we're seeing way too much of last year's patterns, and if anything, we're seeing worse. But again, it's 2 games. Sure, if you want to argue that point to where they could right the ship, sure. I am not disputing any of that, but that's where the frustration comes in. That's the thing. Takes everyone's the new slang. Mika even play tonight. Yeah, did terrible. What happened to my game 5 MSG stream? Oh, that one I took down because the audio was bad. I was probably gonna get copyright for the music and stuff anyway, so I just took it down. And that was also a lot of raw emotion where I probably said irrational things, so I just took it down. I get it, but the just one game mentality is what kept the Pens out of the playoffs the last couple of years. That I agree with too. And continuing to say it's one game, it's one game, it's one game. You know, you can't just keep doing that. Like, how many it's just one games until it's too many games is the point here. It's just frustrating. Really is. All right, Tommy, have a good night. When consider 1 month of the season, driving that line 5v5 has been an issue for a while. Yeah, and again, that's really the problem here. I don't know who you're yelling at. I don't know who you're yelling at because I've ripped on Mika all night long. So I don't know who you're shouting to, but no, I agree that Mika's the problem, like one of the many problems with this team, which again gets back to the point to like this is why you can't give Igor 12 million. It is not about Igor. It is not at all. It is about the group around Igor that makes it that you are literally not going to win if you pay him that much money. You just are not. When you have a guy like Mika Zibanejad as your number one center, when you have Jacob Trouba employed on your blue line, when your second best defenseman on the roster is Jekyll and Hyde each year, like let's call it how it is. Adam Fox, clear cut number one. And then who is it? Keandre Miller, I would say. But again, he's Jekyll and Hyde every single season. That's, and I hope that makes it make more sense to people that have disputed to me the Igor thing. I hope that makes more sense to people, but that's just how I feel. Louis, what's going on? When Igor made the save in OT, I thought we were winning. Stupid me. Once they didn't kill that penalty off, like call me a Debbie Downer, negative, whatever. I didn't think we were winning the game with the way that penalty kill went down and the way Jacob Trouba was. I'd be so mad if I was an Arizona fan. Now you hear the Muppet talking out of his ass. All right, my fault. My fault. I just wasn't sure because you weren't tagging anyone, so I wasn't sure. Mika's done washed up. He is a player that looks good on rebuilding teams and a player teams win with. Yeah, I mean, it's hard to disagree. I'm at a point where I'm like, not even, I know I raised my voice a bit earlier in the post game, but I don't know. I'm at a point where I'm not even just mad. Like, as depressing as it is, I'm just like at a point where I'm not even mad right now. I'm just like disappointed that this is the product nonstop and that this is what we have to deal with, you know? Like, I'm just more annoyed than mad at this point. Like, I'm more just depressed, feeling like I'm in a time warp with this freaking team. And it's just like playing the hits on loop. And I think this is a fair way of putting it. Like, the core is getting boring. Like, maybe boring's the right word. I don't know. Oh my god, I completely forgot to even bring up the fact that they freaking raised banners for being Metropolitan Division champions and regular season champions. So stupid. So freaking stupid. Stale. Stale is another good word. Everyone in the chat, use one word to describe this core right now. Use one word to describe this core. Core might have just missed its window, sadly. This is exactly why I was like so passionate about getting Jake Gensel, because I felt that that was the best opportunity to win a Stanley Cup potentially in my lifetime, and I don't know how many more times they're going to get that type of opportunity. And even if it costs Gabe Perreault, sorry, said something that's just not even a word. Even if it costs Gabe Perreault, looking in hindsight, and it would have sucked to have Gabe Perreault in Pittsburgh. I don't know. I really think I would have done it. Because you had to go full throttle last year. You just had to. Soft, overrated, lackluster. Soft seems to be the word. Uninspired, shit, lazy, meh, lackluster. Unaccountable, I think, is a good word. I like that one. Comical. I agree with all those words, honestly. I think unaccountable is like really perfect because there is no accountability at all with this team. My Mets channel is just Mets Central. Just this, but Mets. Joke, no backbone. I'm right there with you guys. I mean, I've been for a bit now, unfortunately. And it's sad, honestly. Like, I don't want to feel this way. That's the thing that annoys me, because people all the time will be like, yeah, it's people will just say to me, oh, you're doing this for an actor, you just are looking to complain, this and that. Go watch my Mets channel. I'm not doom and gloom there. Go watch my Mets channel. I don't do this because of an act. I don't do this because, like, why would I sit through 82 plus games a season if I straight up just wanted to complain the entire time? I do this because I'm just honestly fed up. Like, that's really what it comes down to. And again, maybe this isn't the conversation to have 2 games into the season. Maybe it's not. Maybe this is the conversation to have later on. But in the season, that is. But I don't know. It's just nights like tonight that just, they're just more infuriating, the losses, because it's the stench of what we've been accustomed to over the past few years. But let's see. What else are you guys saying in the chat? What would my word be? That's a good question. What would my word be? I mean, I have a few, but if I was to pick one, honestly, disappointing thus far. Like, if they win the cup this year, obviously, sure, but disappointing considering the fact that when they went through the rebuild, I was so excited for what they had going, and with the way Mika played that 2019-20 season, all that other stuff, like, I was so excited for the future of this group. And now it's just like, it's like freaking, I don't know. I just feel like banging my head against a wall, you know? Unintentionally lazy, disappointing. Mika's been trashed since after the COVID season. Yeah. Listen, Ryan Lindgren would not have solved any of tonight. He wouldn't have. If anything, honestly, it would have been worse with Ryan Linger in the lineup tonight because that means Victor Mancini wouldn't have played. Honestly, it would have been worse. Sorry, it would have. But again, it's more than just one game. That is the problem. Because we have years of this. Hard to be positive about a team that was supposed to get better after the year after a deep run. Instead, they come out looking worse. They need to be better than last year, and I just don't see it. They could turn around. If you want the glimmer of optimism, it's only 2 of 82. But I'm not going to sit here. Sorry, I hit my mic. I'm not going to sit here and say that you don't have a right to be frustrated because, quite frankly, I sit in the same boat. But I also don't, I'm not going to shit on you if you feel, okay, it's only 2 games in. Let's wait and see what happens. I'm not going to shit on you for feeling either way. You feel how you want to feel. I am not here to dictate that. I am not here to judge that. I am not here just with any of that. That's not my place. But all I know is that that's just how I feel. Personally. That's just how I feel. No, man. I'm sorry, no. That you could feel again, feel the way you want. No, man. I want cups. I want cups. I'm sorry. No. I'm not celebrating regular season success and going to the Eastern Conference Finals. I'm sorry, that's just not for me. I've seen enough of it in my life. I don't care. The bar is higher. But I don't know. It's just saying we're not a bad team. I'm not saying that they are a terrible team, but there are a lot of flaws with this team. And the problem is the flaws that they have are ones that make it hard to win a Stanley Cup. That's the problem. The problem isn't because every team, I get it, because I know someone's going to say it. I get it. Every team has flaws. The Florida Panthers had their flaws even last year. The problem is, you know what their flaws weren't? Their centers. Their top defensemen. 2 of those things that you need to win a Stanley Cup. And the problem is, those are the Rangers' flaws. That's the problem. What was Florida's flaw last year? Again, every team has flaws. Their 4th line and like their bottom D pair. But those are problems that you could deal with. And this is the point, yeah. Like, again, I'm not raining on anyone's parade if they feel that way and they're happy about it, but they shouldn't just be, like, this team shouldn't get a pass just because of the fact that, oh, they've made the ECF and they've won President's trophies. At some point, you got to win the cup itself. That's what you play the games for. And I get one team wins every year, but at some point it's just nauseating and exhausting. That's all. Is it worth watching hockey? Or oh, sorry, is it worth watching back? That you said I would tell you meant hockey. I mean, if you're like me, a complete nerd that needs to sit and like watch every little detail and see what happened in the game throughout the entire game to the point where you're pausing, rewinding. That's how I am, and it infuriates my family, but that's the way that I am, where I'm pausing, rewinding the game, looking at every little detail that's happening on the ice. But that's just the way that I'm wired. If you're like that, then yeah, go ahead. But you also I don't think it's like required. Like if you just, I don't know, you don't have to. But if you're like me, it's about accountability. They are professional athletes, um and improving, not regression. Yeah, that's the truth. Yeah, yeah. He is the problem. That's the thing. He's a huge, huge problem. He really is. Sorry if that upsets anyone, but it's the truth. He is a problem. I've been very vocal about my hatred for Drury over the past year, I'd say now at this point. Um, I think if they don't get it done this year, and if he has another disappointing deadline, I think a lot of fans are going to lose their shit on him. I think a lot of fans are going to lose their patience with him if they haven't already. I mean, a lot of fans already have turned on him. Dolan, everyone's been tired of for as long as I've been on this planet. But I can tell you right now, I think everyone, like, I don't think there will be a single person not on the Drury hate train if they don't get it done this year and he has an underwhelming deadline. But fans hated Drury when he was a Ranger player. He is overpaid, passive, and soft like the team he built. Pathetic. It's funny because that's literally one point I was going to make the next time I had an opportunity to rant about Drury. Yeah. I mean, the guy had one of the worst contracts in the franchise's history, and you make that guy the GM, and that guy could take, like, his philosophy is what he was as a player, and he thinks we're still in the 90s. I don't want to go down this rabbit hole tonight. It's game two. It's game two of the regular season. I'm not going to go down that rabbit hole. I'm going to wrap it up tonight. Maybe I'll have more rational thoughts next game. Maybe they win next game. Who the hell freaking knows? But all I know is that if they play like this going forward, we are complete and utterly fucked. But that goes without saying. But yeah, that is going to be it for me. Thank you guys so much for tuning in and watching. Don't forget to leave a like if you haven't already. Don't forget to subscribe. Turn on your notifications so you know when we upload or go live on the channel here on Ranger Central. And I'll see you guys in the next one.